internally. Like I wouldn't feel very good about it, and what would happen is like we just stay stuck in place, and that would feel good to say out loud. Obviously,
You want to settle for that?
I'm not a stranger to looking into these types of things, but
You seem a bit reluctant to it.
I would say that's only just because I've invested a good chunk over the last like 1 to 1.5 years, and I feel like it's been like marginal improvements, but not like big of a shit I was expecting. I'm trying to up the ante this year.
Are you trying to up the ante, or are you committed to up the ante this year?
This is probably the most boring sales call recording you'll ever watch. There's no crazy mindset NLP Jedi tricks. There's no crazy objection handling jujitsu because there's no objection the prospect gave at the end except for sorting out payments. So these days, everybody's just being brainwashed, thinking that, oh, discovery doesn't matter, just objection handle at the end. But why feel like you're in a boxing match at the end of the call every time if you didn't have to? Now note, this is only for high-ticket closure selling coaching programs or lead gen. If you sell something else or if you're a setter, this doesn't apply to you. You can just click off this video right now. By the way, what you're gonna see in this sales call recording is just scratching the surface. There's a lot more that goes into becoming a 10, 20K, 30K a month commission earner, being the top dog in the industry. So that's what we help our students inside of our implementation program, Real Sales System. If you want to multiply your commissions from inbound and outbound calls, be a top dog in the industry, I'm just going to put the link to book a call with myself or someone on our team in the description box below. Other than that, let's get into the sales call recording.
Good seeing you. Well, I know we talked before, but obviously you want to close more deals. But what do you feel like you need help with specifically?
I think biggest overarching thing is just consistency in the sales process. Like I'll have weeks where closing a unit a day, and then I'll have weeks like the last few weeks, which is like things go in a bit of a dry spell, just a lot of delays on some of these deals. So I was just trying to.
So what do you feel like you maybe need help with to get that consistency?
I would say just creating more urgency in the sales process, but then obviously everything else, in terms of process, as far as like activity, I think I could for sure be doing more there instead of just only relying on like first call closes just to make it. So I think it's just trying to be way more well-rounded going into this year.
So what are you doing at the moment to build more urgency, have more of that consistency now?
I mean, biggest thing I dive into with these guys in the market I speak to is just asking them like why, because again, these guys they don't really do a lot of marketing for their company. It's like agencies, right? Like video agencies. So I just try to keep the focus on like why they're looking to get help with implementing a process there rather than just keep doing referrals.
How long have you been doing it down for?
A couple of months, I would say.
Okay, it's quite a bit. Is it working?
It works when it does, but not as consistently as we would like.
Okay, so what do you feel like you're maybe doing on the call, or maybe not doing, that's causing that lack of consistency?
I mean, I would like to think I'm starting to do better of creating more of a bigger gap of like where they're at to where they want to be, but like it's like we get to the end of the call and obviously it's a 18K ticket, and then these guys get spooked off, and then just playing the follow-up game. Yeah, no, it's like everything is good. You get a bunch of tie downs, everything is good, and then 18K comes out of my mouth, and they're like fuck, like they've seen a ghost. So it's just then it falls into the follow-up game, and then you some people doing that, but there's a bit of drop off there as well.
Because I've been there too, but when you take like the 30-45 minute call, either they go, so like you're trying to follow up, you're trying to call them, but they never answer. What's going through your mind?
Well, it's really two, right? Like one part of it is like, well, shit, like what do I need to do to maximize these things on the first call?
Sure.
And then the second component of it is, and I even just got this from when you were running the initial school group, is just sending them a shit ton of like memes and just content from the influencer, which he has a good amount of it. So we have good assets to send it. So I just follow up with them until they buy, just tell me to fuck off, basically.
Yeah. Well, I get that. So how much commissions do you feel like you're maybe leaving on the table each week because maybe you're not going deeper into urgency?
there's definitely room to be hitting 20, 30K comps on this offer.
Okay.
Like
Where are you at now?
either right at 10 or just fall right below that.
Okay, so what is that? Conservatively 10 grand a month on the table.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is that per year? It's like you have a calculator with you?
Yeah, that's 120K.
Yeah, quite a bit. How do you feel about that?
Definitely not.
Yeah.
That's not a small amount of money to be falling short of.
It's someone's salary.
Yeah, dude.
Okay. But why maybe get some outside help with building urgency and smacking more deals? Why not just, I don't know, just do more dials and try to somehow figure it out on your own?
Because it'd be silly to not at least look into it because I want to get, when your ego gets involved, that's when you get in trouble, right? So it's just
Yeah.
I've been following your stuff for some time. I'm like, it's at least warranted to have a conversation just to see like what a bit more hands-on help would look like with something like that. Just to at the very least figure out like where my blind spots are that I'm not even being like right now myself. So
Yeah. But why look at that? Why not just, I don't know, DIY it? I'm sure your prospect told you that. Ah, bro, just fucking keeping up with the referrals, bro.
yeah, because it's like I don't know, man. It's like I see a pattern over the last several months where I'm like, it's either we just bulldoze our thing, just by sheer will, just do it, or I just have to, we just make a change and do something different to get better outcomes.
Why would you prefer?
Because also the other part of it as well is your boy literally just got married, so it's like,
Congratulations.
thanks, bro. Yeah, it's a lot of responsibility on the plate. So I'm like it's not just me anymore, right? It's like yeah, like I have a bad calm month before, like it's like okay, like who cares? It's like just me, but now I'm like providing for a household of two of us now. So
You got a child?
oh no, we're not quite there yet.
Oh, you and her.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
gotcha.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, I think it's just for me. I just internally just feel like
Yeah.
shit, level up is necessary for sure.
That makes sense. I mean, that's why I enjoy working with closers and also like men in general, right? Because the
Yeah,
thing about that is there's a level of congruency and responsibility. Because like you're saying, if it's just you, you can be comfortable, whatever. But if it's like another human being, right? Then you gotta lead by example. You gotta get out of your comfort zone. Otherwise, I mean, no one else is gonna make this for you, right?
exactly.
Okay. So let's say you learn the skills. So you said you have like there's potential for 20, 30 grand a month. But what's your goal though? Is it 20, 30? What's the goal, let's say 3 months from now?
20K, I would say. I've hit that on this offer before. I want to get to a threshold where I'm hitting that consistently
Consistently. Yeah.
every month. Yeah.
Okay. For sure. So before we start talking, were you out there looking for ways to build more urgency, get to 20K, or what else have you been doing?
I mean, I've been in a few different like sales communities.
Okay.
I don't know, man. I feel like at this point I've gone through most of the sales trainings you could probably think of.
Okay.
So I don't know. It for me it's kind of like this crossroads where I'm like, dude, it's like doing all the things to regulate the skill set and get that refined, but like here we are where it's like, it's very like up and down. So I don't know. I'm just kind of at a loss of what more I could be doing when on paper I feel like I'm reaching out, going into the program, going to coaching, just getting outside help.
Yeah.
I'm not a stranger to looking into these types of things, but
You seem a bit reluctant to it.
I would say that's only just because I've you know, invested a good chunk over the last like 1 to 1.5 years, and I
Mm.
feel like it's been like marginal improvements, but not like as big of a shit as I was expecting.
Why
So
do you feel that is?
that's a good question, man. I not quite sure, but But
Like, for example, what programs have you done? I know you went to like our basic school, but besides that, what else have you done?
I've uh, I've gone through I've gone through I've gone through cool
Okay.
stuff. Let's see, well, I've done a little bit of stuff before,
Okay.
and then
Very
sprinkling in
decent.
some like low ticket like school
Yep.
communities and stuff like that here and there.
Okay, and you can hand on heart, you can say I show up to the trainings regularly and I really tried hard.
Stuff, yes.
Mm.
For the others, yes, I did, but not. I mean, I didn't really squeeze the juice as much as I could have there, I
Why
think.
not?
Because I think with a lot of those programs, it was very much so like group group oriented, and I think what I'm looking for at this point is just being able to like work with somebody more in like a one-to-one capacity,
Okay.
where I could just be like, hey, like this is what I've worked on, like let's just pick apart these calls and then
Yeah.
send me on my way. I at this stage of like development and kind of where I'm at, I think that's really what I'm looking for.
So essentially what you're looking to get out of the one-on-ones is like that pointing at the blind spots and enough time to do that, essentially what you mentioned. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because typically with the last place, I mean, again, like they're incredible programs. They give me my foundation, but
Yeah.
also there's like 30, 40, 50 people on those calls too.
Yeah, I hear you. No, I mean, I know what you're talking about. And in terms of, at least with program, right? You say you need to build more urgency. I mean, it's called,
Yeah.
right? So, you know, most people come to our training after that because I mean, it's a great program, I think, for like so on and so forth, but it's not really focused on building urgency, which is like the core
Yeah,
problem.
because with this stuff, it's like more on the call. Don't really like focus on discovery, and then I think just where I'm at now, I realize like you don't have to be in a boxing match every call. You could tackle these things upstream on the call, and just having like a not being lazy with discovery and just doing way more of an efficient job of
Yeah.
closing the doors ahead of time. Um, so it's just I think it's like yeah, like have I closed deals by just half-assing discovery and just objection handling for 20 minutes? Yeah, I could do that, but to do that 6, 7, 8 calls a day over a long stretch of time, that's crazy.
Is it? Sign me up, bro. Okay. So let's say we can help with like the more nuanced feedback, the call review, so you can get to the 20K consistently. Like, what would that allow you to do that you can't really do right now? And don't tell me something boring like reinvest or real estate.
I mean, two things to that. One,
Okay.
pay off a bit of debt I'm sitting on right now, but then also trying to get a house in about a year to 2 years. So
Oh, all right.
just trying to clear out that out of the way, so then I can start stacking up, start saving, so we can move into an actual home here. So
You're kind of renting at the moment, or what's going on?
yeah, renting out here. I literally just got out here to Virginia. Was in New York, but then
Yeah.
a lot of movement. But yeah, for the next year to 2 years, I'm setting up shop here, and then plan is to get a house.
Okay.
So my path to get me there is locking the fuck in on this closing thing, which you know I like to think I'm way better positioned now than I was when I first started, like a couple of years ago after I transitioned from being a setter. But I think that I truly think I'm on like a unicorn offer, like really good client results, really good like testimonials, good ticket,
Yeah.
great volume. The money's to be made. Now I'm just like how can I put myself in a position to squeeze juice what's being provided.
That part makes sense. But what I mean, besides the obvious, why a house? Why not just keep renting?
Yeah, I mean apartment's was always a temporary part of the plan anyways. Just want to
Yeah.
find the home base and just I like consistency, right? So it's just being able to find somewhere, just lock in for a good while, just do my thing, right?
That makes sense. Okay, so let's look at the debt. How much debt would you need to pay off?
Let's see. A little over 20.
20 grand.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And I guess the reason why you haven't been able to pay that off in the past is because I guess your commissions haven't been to a point where you can just pay that off all together. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we need to get that up. So 20 grand. In terms of the house, like what's your ideal house? Is it like in the suburb, beach house? What kind of house do you want?
That part I haven't thought entirely about. I just know that it'll be somewhere location wise where, I'll be close with my family, at home, which would
Amazing.
probably, most likely be back in New York. But as far as like the amount of rooms, how big it is, I haven't really thought that through. I just know that location wise, I want to be close to my people.
For sure. How much would that cost you?
I mean, dude, if you're talking New York these days, you're talking
New
like
York's
at least.
cheap.
What's that?
New York's cheap.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, you're not looking at anything less than 600-700.
600
Okay.
grand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it's quite a bit, but you being able to do that though, right? Your debt's off your shoulders and you go to your folks or you go to the missus, be like, hey guys, this sales thing working out. We got that home. Pack your bags. Let's go. What would it do for you? Being able to be that guy.
I mean, dude, that would feel great
Yeah.
for sure. Just because
Okay, so-
I don't know, because again, this is just more of like another speed bump, if you will. But I think it's like being able to like be like, fuck, I was in the not ideal situation, and
Yeah.
evolving up the offer. I think it would just feel personally, I think it would feel like incredible to be able to provide that.
Yeah, for sure. And with the current skills you have now, how close are you to being able to do that?
That's a tricky one because it's like I feel like I have the capacity to hit the goal, like because I've done it before.
Yeah.
But if we're talking like consistently every single month,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not gonna say that there isn't more to be learned. So I think there's always room for improvement with the skill set. So I would say I'm close, but not as fast as it could be.
So
Yeah, as an example, like with the current rate with your commission checks and the current rate you're saving up, how long would it take you to pay off that debt and get that 700 grand house?
It would take me a little over a year or so, but if I can cut that in half, ideally, that would be.
Like as an
That's
example,
good to
how
know.
much are you saving up each month at the moment towards the debt in the house?
I mean, not much because whatever's getting saved up, again, you put money aside for taxes, bills, rent, and then it's just like maybe a couple grand as far as saved up, maybe like 3-4K.
3K a month?
Like as far as outside of expenses and what have you.
Yeah. 3K a month for the house, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with the 700 grand, like what's the down payment if you thought about it?
So yeah, let's do some math here.
Yeah.
I mean, minimum probably 70K, 10% of that.
70K. Okay. So you're saving up 3K a month, let's just say. So it'll take you 7 months to pay off that 20 grand debt, right? And then
Mhm.
after that, so 70 grand. Where'd you go? There we go. 70K divided by 3,000. That's 23 months plus 7 months for the debt.
Yeah.
23 plus 7, 30 months. 2.5 years.
Mhm.
Bit longer than you thought.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? 30 months from now.
Yeah. I mean, ideal, but also it's like, again, in this thing of sales that we do, I know shit can change like very, very quickly, and I know we can slim that timeline by at least 50%. So it's not good to see those type of numbers, but
Yeah, I mean, there's a saying, right? You keep doing the same things over and over again, expecting a different result. What do you call that?
yeah, it's insanity.
Yeah. The same guy said another thing, which is a problem cannot be solved from the same level of thinking it was created from.
Mhm.
Hence the blind spot you're talking about.
Yeah.
So, consequence question: what happens if you don't do anything about this? You keep going at the rate you are now. It does take 30 months. In the meantime, you can't get to home and still having that debt. What happens then?
So it's interesting being on the receiving end of consequence questions. I'm like, fuck, that's how you properly do it, eh? I think what would happen is it would be a bit, I don't know, I guess I'd feel a bit shameful for, not being able to provide the life, I guess, right? Just
For who?
for myself, for my lady,
Yeah.
So I think it's just more so internally, like I wouldn't feel very good about it. And what would happen is like, we just stay stuck in place, and that'd feel good to say out loud, obviously.
You want to settle for that?
Nope.
Well, you don't have to do something about this now. Like, you're doing good. You can just push it off until week, month, 30 months. I'm sure your prospects do.
Yeah. I mean, I could, but like I told you, man, I'm trying to up the ante this year, so I don't got.
Are you trying to up the ante or are you committed to up the ante this year?
No, that's a commitment. That's a flag that's been put on the ground.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, based on what you told me what we do at work, you seem committed. So if you want, I can just walk you through what we do, how we do it, up the ante, and make that house and that happen. Want to do that?
Talk to me, B. What's going on?
All right. How did that feel as a prospect?
That I I think how that felt to me on my end is I like how there was no space to like let me drift off, left or right. I think you kept me like right on the straight and narrow, and took you about 20 minutes to get there. So yeah, definitely need that type of structure in the calls I'm having, because these guys completely go on tangents. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So that was all straight from the decision tree, everything we talked about. And
Yeah.
that's what we help you implement a real sales system. So we've been to like the basic school, but the implementation is a bit different. So I'll walk you through it. Okay. So the implementation process for 12 weeks. And the first thing we're working on is building more urgency using the decision tree. Because that's the main thing you mentioned, right? I mean, objection handling at the end, that's cool, but you don't want to be in the boxing match every day.
Yeah.
Right. Now you can have a script, but when was the last time a sales conversation went exactly how the script's written out?
Doesn't
Doesn't
I
really
can't
happen.
remember, right? Because there's different variables that happen. Sometimes they answer this way, sometimes they give you this answer, right? Now at the same time, he just threw the script out the window. Unless you're like a natural, then it's very difficult for you to actually like navigate through the call, like you mentioned, right? So that's when the decision tree comes into play. I'll just show you. I'm sure you've seen a little bit of it,
Mhm.
but the problem section, right? So if they give you this answer, you go there. If they give you this answer, you go there. And so because you mentioned building more urgency, I'll show you a tool that we have. So we go here, we go to the pain section, and we have something called the probing questions vaults. What that is if you ever struggle to go deeper asking those hard questions, there's a bank of questions you can ask. Right? So I was asking this question, right? Hey, so when XYZ problem was happening, what was going through your mind? Or how did it make you feel?
hmm
So you can ask those questions to go deeper into the prospect's pain. That way, you don't have to deal with as many objections. And if you do get an objection, now you have more leverage to handle that objection because you have more pain point. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean the thing I've liked about that is just it's more like a conditional, like the conversation goes here, you go here. Conversation goes here, you go there. Um, 'Cause I think it's just like, because again, it's like I know very much it's like rooted in like NEPQ, but then it's like I think for me over time, because I've learned so many people's different sales processes. Part of it being like, you know, I think I've like swung the pendulum too far in that direction, where a lot of these calls they just go like everywhere. There really is no like, you know, rigid like structure to it.
Yeah.
So I think this will help me course correct it back to having structure in the calls.
Yeah, you gotta be in a sweet spot. You can't be too rigid, but if you just go rogue, then like I mean, good luck with that too. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So that's a decision tree. Next part is having more at bats using the pipeline closing. Because I think that's another thing you mentioned, right? Instead of just relying on the book, the inbound calls, you're gonna have more opportunities from the actual closing from pipeline,
Mhm.
right? So we provided with the SOPs and scripts in terms of how to close deals from outbound, how to close deals from follow-ups, right? And so that way you can actually, instead of during your notion, instead of doing nothing, right? You can actually have more streams of commissions coming in. If I didn't take advantage of that when I was full-time selling, I would have lost out on 114K in commissions per year because of that, based on my data. And same thing with the top students too. Sometimes 50 or 60% of the commissions come from the follow-ups and having a tight process in place. Okay. So you'll be having that too. That way you can actually close more deals during your no-shows. Yeah.
Mhm.
Especially if you've been stuck in a 10K a month, then there's opportunities there. Yeah. How do you feel about that part?
Um, Definitely a part I could for sure be taking more advantage of. So I've and I even dove into some of those SOPs when you were originally running the group, and I was like making use of those. But I think it's just doing it like every day is what I'm missing, because there's definitely a good batch of units to be had. Because
Yep.
again, even with the business owner, I was working with him last month, and like fuck, there's so much juice to be had, squeezed when it comes to renewals and upsells of current clients as well.
South.
Mm,
There's money to be had, like even without taking new leads on the
Offer
yeah.
so.
Because I just remember you mentioning that with the upsell. If you have upsells, if you're not taking advantage of it, that's just leaving money on the table. Like they already
Mhm.
bought. Those are the easiest people to sell to, right?
Yeah.
So that's that. Last part is the implementation and accountability. Okay. Because I mean, those group calls are like 30, 50 people. Those are great, but I mean, it's hard to get your questions answered and get feedback, right? So don't get me wrong, we have group sessions too, but so it's 5 times a week. Okay, you hop on, and it's not like there's a 50 people on there. Right now, it's more intimate. There's maybe 3 to 4 people asking questions and getting feedback at a time. So
Mhm.
what that allows you to do now, listen, if you're passive in the back and showing up late, you don't know what your question is. Yeah, it's gonna be difficult. But if you show up on time or a couple minutes earlier, right, bring a call or role playing, get feedback. That way you can actually see the blind spots, like deals you're losing out to. You're actually like, oh shit, I didn't know I was fucking up there, but now I know what to do. So you have that element. We have the accountability element as well, right? We'll go over that in a bit. But in terms of one-on-ones, there's some elements of one-on-ones. Okay. So when you first enroll, you're gonna submit your data tracker and your sales call recordings, and then we have something called a one-on-one game plan session. What that is, okay, based on your data and your sales call recording, here's the action item number 1, 2, 3, go do it. And then you go do it. And after hopping on the group training sessions, and then after that, if you're still stuck for whatever reason, then we can work on that on like a quick one-on-one as well. Obviously, I expect you to actually go through the course material and the group trainings first. If you don't go through that, ask for a one-on-one, I'm probably gonna say no. But after you go through that, if you're still stuck for whatever reason, then we can have a quick one. So
Cool.
does that all make sense with the
Yeah.
structure we just laid out?
Yeah.
Okay. And do you feel like this could help you?
I, big question I would have for you though is, with the implementation program, are there any aspects of it that are different than the low ticket you were doing in school, or is it like new materials, new content? Like what?
Short
What's
answer is yes. Yeah,
yeah.
short answer is yes. And also the frequency of the feedback, because the students that are getting like the biggest progress is like they're showing up consistently, getting feedback on their call reviews and their role plays. And then also, I mean, yeah, if you pay more, you're just gonna pay more attention. That's just This is the fucked up part of being a human being. This is how it works, right? And I've done that too. So that's another part. And then to answer your other questions, yes, there's other material like the probing questions vault. It wasn't there before, right? And then other sales code recordings I'm in there too, like my own sales code recordings, as well as like more specific examples in terms of. So it's kind of like lead gen marketing systems, yeah. Yeah, so it's similar. So there's lead gen specific decision tree and lead gen specific examples.
Okay. Cool.
So man, so you feel like this could help you get your goal?
Yeah, I think it can.
All right. What specific part do you feel like would be maybe the most helpful?
I'd say the activity section for sure, as far as just like, being more well-rounded during my day, and then the decision trees just be a lot more tailored with the conversations.
That makes sense. Cool. By the way, I don't really have anything else to go over with you. So the funds required for you to get access to the decision tree, the 20K months, get that home and get rid of the debt. Or you want to go from here?
Okay. Okay, so that's fine. Do you have ways we can potentially go about breaking that up? Just because liquidity is not where it typically is. Just your boy just got back from the honeymoon.
Yeah.
So
Got any type of Klarna or anything like that to
break it up.
Klarna a bit tough, but money aside, you feel good about it. Money aside, you feel like this could help
Yeah.
you get your goal?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we can do payment plans, right? So we can do half down and half 30 days later.
Work with me on a 3-pay.
We could do 3 payments of that, 30 days apart. That would be the smallest one.
I can work with that.
Cool. Able to do that?
Yeah.
Cool, brother. So what I'll do is I'll drop the link in the chat. And once that's Gucci, we can get rocking and rolling. And I just dropped the link in the chat. All right. Let me know when this sorted out. In the meantime, I hope you get set up with your onboarding.
If you learned something from the sales call recording and thought to yourself, hey, I want to be able to sell like that. Basic YouTube videos are good, but does a YouTube video give you an exact custom game plan for your specific situation and your specific offer and your specific sticking points? It doesn't, right? Does a YouTube video give you exact feedback on where you're fucking up on and where you're losing deals that's costing you commissions every day? It doesn't, right? So that's why High Ticket Closers get into our implementation program, Real Sales System. It's a 12-week implementation program where we help High Ticket Closers get to that 10K, 20K plus per month in commissions. It only works for closers that are in high ticket closing, selling coaching programs, or lead gen. So not for setters, not for people that are selling other stuff. So if you're not a princess closer, if you're committed to do what it takes to get to where you want to go, be the guy you want to be, go to the first link in the description box below. We can see if you'd be eligible for Real Sales System. I'll see you inside.